We have fixed our vehicle, so now it flies down the screen once again extremely fast. At least our code is a bit more readable, but now we need to slow that vehicle down so it does not just fly off into the distance. So, in our flare controller script, we are actually going to use a little bit of math in this method to be able to slow our vehicle down. So, first what we are gonna do is we are going to want to change the way that we move our vehicle. So currently, the way which works is our update method is called every single frame. But depending on how powerful your computer is, you might get 20 frames in 1 second, you might get 60 frames in 1 second, and your player could move at varying speed depending on what kind of device they are using. So we actually want to change that from updating every frame to updating over time every second. So the way that we do that first is by multiplying, and for a computer you should use the star symbol. So if you press shift on your 8 keys it will create that star symbol, because actually if you press X and use the X key it considers that an actual letter that it needs to know to use for a word. So we use the star symbol to tell us that we are multiplying something, and then what we will actually do is we have a class already made to keep track of time. So we don't have to write a class ourselves. So that is called time with a capital T, and you can even see it highlights in the green. Capital T. Now we are using time to keep track of our time, and we actually use delta time to get the change in time between all of our different frames. So now using this bit of code we can actually so now using this bit of code we can actually know when 1 second has actually elapsed versus 20 frames happening, 60 frames happening. Who knows? We can't control that, we can control how much time is actually passing. Just make sure you save. So if we go test this, when I press play we should see our vehicle moving very slowly, very slowly. But because of that little bit of code we are actually now moving 1 meter a second. You can see it. Come to hierarchy, click on vehicle, and you can see in transform component, look at the Z component. It is changing very slowly. 1 meter a second. So cool. Now we have our vehicle moving by time, granted it is moving very slowly, but we can fix that pretty easily. So what we are gonna do in our player controller, we are just going to multiply by a random number using that star symbol. So maybe 15 or 20. Now it should move about 20 meters every second now. Again save it, control S. So, if I test and press play, now it is moving now here near as fast as before, but definitely not as slow either, which is great. The way this formula actually works, this little equation that we have impact vector 3 forward is storing a 0, 0 and a 1. And so when you are actually multiply it by the time and 20, you are actually multiplying each of the different value. So at first you multiply your 0 by time and by 20, which will always be 0. The u Then you multiply your y, which is 0 by time and 20, which is still 0. Then you multiply the z by time and 20, which gets you 20 meter a second. So just a fun way to kind of see the math works, and we definitely save a lot more time. That is great and cool. If you have any question, ask in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in next video.